Okay, we're going to do another daf. We're up to daf Gimel. This way we'll be ahead for tomorrow's daf. So people will watch this tomorrow and be ahead with the daf Yomi. So we're on daf Gimel Amud Aleph in Avodah Zarah. And there's a discussion of the 7 laws of Noah. That the Gentile nations were offered the Torah, they didn't accept it, and they said, well, we weren't forced. And they said, well, what about the 7 laws of Noah? Did you even keep that? And God said, well, since you didn't keep it, you don't have to keep it anymore. Forget about it. And the thing is, so what? If they now they gain because they're not going to be punished. So Amar Mar Brei the Ravina, Mar the son of Ravina said, no, that when it comes to the 7 laws of Noah, they'll be punished if they break it, but they won't be rewarded if they keep it. So, like we said before in the last video, that this shows very clearly that this whole Noahide movement that we have today is very silly, and also the Neo-Ger movement with the Ger Toshav movement. If someone believes in Torah, they should join the Klal Yisrael and become a full Jew, because then they know they're going to receive a reward. Otherwise, they're in a kind of a limbo state. Even no matter how pious they are with the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, they're going to be much better off if they become fully Jewish, if they're able to do so. Obviously, if they're able to be frum and everything, it's a much better thing to be makabel all the mitzvahs, and then you know you're going to be rewarded, as opposed to not. But we're going to discuss a little bit more. But what it seems for where we're up to is that the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach no longer apply, according to one opinion, which means there's neither reward nor punishment. The question is, therefore, if they receive no punishment, so then they're gaining because of their sin. And so the answer is no. That even though they keep them, they won't receive a reward, but they'll still be punished for breaking it. Now, the Gemara has an issue with this, and no, perhaps they will receive a reward for keeping Sheva Mitzvahs. V'loi, is this really true? Is it true that a Gentile who keeps Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach receives no reward? Vasanya, we have a brisa like this. This is a teaching from the rabbis of the Mishnah that didn't make it into the Mishnah. It's not exactly an apocryphal teaching, but it is something along those lines. Rabbi Meir used to say, how do we know that a non-Jew who studies Torah is like a high priest? Talmud loimer ashiyasei samodam uchay b'hem. It's to say, as what it says in Leviticus 18, that these are the laws that a human being should do and live by them. It doesn't say priests and Levites and Israelites. Elahadam means it says the human. That shows that this here it says Ovid Kechavim, an idol worshipper. It could be even an idol worshipper, but most likely it's any Gentile, perhaps regardless of whether he worships idols or not. Although worshiping idols violates the laws of Noah. And so sometimes the term, it should say Nachri, it should say a Gentile. There's different opinions what it says, what it should be here. But we'll say a non-Jew who studies Torah receives a reward like a Kohen Gadol. Now there's a whole question. it also says that elsewhere the Gemara says that a non-Jew who studies Torah is liable to the death penalty. And so the answer is that if he studies the laws that apply to him, then he's like the Kohen Gadol. But if he studies laws that don't apply to him, he's liable to the death penalty. Not that he should be killed, but it's from heaven, whatever. Again, there's different opinions what exactly this means. Although, based on that again, this whole thing that we have today, that it takes a few years to convert to Judaism, is totally antithetical to what our sages teach. And many, Rabbi Akiva Eger said, like this other Gedolei Yisrael said, that a person should be converted right away. They want to convert, and then you teach them, right? Is it always so practical? Where there's also other issues, many issues to talk about, but we'll put that aside for now. But it seems that studying the laws of Noah for a non-Jew, for sure, he's like a high priest. He becomes a very holy person just studying the Torah and the laws of Noah. And would seem anything in Scripture is also, since it's already available, and so we see, and it's also for the Shem Mitzvahs. So the Gemara answers, so what do we say? So the Gemara says, when the Brisa says that they receive, that they're, first of all, it doesn't say they receive a reward. It says they're like a high priest. It means they're a holy person. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be rewarded, but that any human being who does what God wants is holy. The question is the reward. What? So the answer, yes. So it's assumed that yes, God is just, so He will give a reward for being a holy person. And even for a non-Jew who's a moral, ethical, good person, and studies how to be moral and ethical, he is rewarded. However, the difference is that he receives the reward not like one who has been commanded, but rather one who volunteers. It's greater to do a job that you're obligated to do than to volunteer to do something. What do we mean? But there's a few things we could say about that. One is that sometimes when you have obligation, it's more difficult. It's harder to commit to something that you're obligated to. But also we see in the world, if you volunteer for something, you don't get paid. But if you have a job that you're obligated to do, you get paid. And so the same thing is in the heavenly realm, that God rewards those who are obligated more than He rewards those who volunteer. Not to say that there's no reward for volunteer work, but the reward for volunteer work is less than the reward for obligated work. And so if someone converts, then they are obligated because they took obligation on, and therefore the reward for the convert is greater. And so still we have more proof here that it's better to convert fully to Judaism than to remain a Noahide, if one is able to do so. Meaning, I'm not saying that everybody has to convert, because not everyone is able to convert. But if you're able to convert, and you make and you have it within your ability to convert, and you make a choice to remain as a Noahide rather than converting, you're losing out on something, to say the least. It's much better to go through the full conversion if you're able to. At least, the best you can do. So this is what the heathens, the pagans, will say to God, Master of the universe, Yisrael shekablua heichen kimua. The Jews, they accepted to keep the Torah. Did they really keep it? This we said before. They always say like this. No, the Jews, they're not really keeping the mitzvahs. God says, I'm going to testify myself that they kept the Torah. I'm in front of Wait a second. In your own Torah, you say that a family cannot testify for a family member. A father can't testify for his son. And you say, you call the Jews your firstborn son, B'ni B'chor Yisrael, my firstborn son Israel. So you can't testify. That's what the nations will say to God. So So God's going to say, all right, I won't testify. I accept your argument. The heaven and the earth, they'll testify that the Jews kept the Torah. The nations are going to say, look at Jeremiah 33. It says, if not for my covenant day and night, the laws of heaven and earth would not have been set. So they're negei b'davar. They have self-interest. Because if the Jews didn't keep the Torah, the heavens and earth would be destroyed. So they are not allowed to testify because they have an interest in the testimony. So the famous great Rish Lakish said, he was famous with Baal Tshuva. There was a meeting in Genesis 1. It says it was evening and it was morning, the sixth day. It doesn't say the first day. It says day 1, a cardinal number. All the rest it says the ordinal number, but without the definitive article. It says day 1, and then it says a second day, a third day, a fourth day, a fifth day. But by the sixth day, it doesn't say a sixth day. It says the sixth day. What is this the sixth day? That God said to the whole creation, right? We know it says in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and there was emptiness and void. So God said to all of creation, if you accept the Torah, good, and if not, if the Jews accept the Torah, good, but if not, I'm going to return you back to emptiness and void. And so the sixth day means the sixth day of Sivan, the Feast of Pentecost, the holiday of Shavuos, when we receive the Torah, which is the sixth day of the month. Behind Adam Chizkiah. This is what one of the sages, Chizkiah, Hezekiah, not the king Hezekiah, but one of the sages, Talmudic sages, said, Ma'idich Siv, was written, Mishamayim Shmata Din Eretz Yarvish Shakata. So it says in Psalm 76, from heaven you made judgment heard, and the earth became afraid and grew calm and was quiet. What does it mean? Judgment means the Torah. If they were afraid, where's the calmness? If they were calm, why were they afraid? A little bit. So what it means is that all the years from creation until Mount Sinai, the whole world was afraid. What if the Jews don't accept the Torah? But once they saw the Israelites accepted the Torah, so then it calmed down. All right, it's good. So Amlam HaKadosh Baruch Hu became Yevoyim. So God said to the nations of the world, you Gentiles yourselves are going to witness that the Jews kept the Torah. That the Jews kept the whole Torah. Nimrod should come. Nimrod will come and testify about Abraham. He's going to testify that Abraham didn't worship idols. Laban is going to come and testify that Jacob didn't steal anything from him and wasn't even suspected of theft. And Potiphar's wife is going to come and testify about Joseph that he didn't commit adultery and he wasn't to be suspected. And now she claimed he did. So what's going on here? But we'll talk about it. But she knows that it wasn't true. Yomi Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar is going to come and show that Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah did not bow down to the idol, that the image that was made in honor of Nebuchadnezzar, which would seem wasn't an idol, but it was. But they went above and beyond. Darius will come and testify that Daniel, he prayed 3 times a day, even if it was against the civil war there. Yahweh Bilda, the Shuchi, Vitsefer, Namasi, Velifu Zetemani, Velihu ben Brachil Abuzi. V'yidu Bahem Yisrael, Shekimus Kol Terkula, Shnem Yitnu Edem Yitzdaku. And Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Namathite, and Eliphaz the Temanite, and Elihu the son of Brachiel the Buzite. These are the friends of Job, and they were all prophets. They're going to come and testify that the Jews indeed kept all the Torah as it says, and the witnesses shall come and be vindicated, which we quoted from Isaiah before. Amru lefana of Rabbeinu Shalom teneha lanu meirosh v'nasena. So then the nations are going to say, God, give us the Torah now. We'll do it. So Amalahem HaKadosh Baruch Hu shoitim sh'mo misha tarch b'ever Shabbos yochel b'Shabbos. So God's going to say, you're so foolish. You have to work on Friday to eat on Saturday, on Shabbos, on the Sabbath. We don't cook on the Sabbath. You have to prepare before the Sabbath, and then you can eat. And the whole world is a preparation for the next world, for the Messianic era. If you prepare Mishaloi Terech B'Erev Shabbos, if you didn't work on Friday, if you didn't work all week long, what are you going to have to eat on Shabbos? El afal pichin mitzvah kali yeshli. However, all right, even though it's not fair, you don't deserve the second chance, I'm going to be nice and say, I'm going to give you an easy mitzvah to do called sukkah, build a tabernacle, and then you go do it. Where do we see in the Bible that God's going to give a second chance to the nations of the world, to the heathens? It would seem that the Bible says, actually, when it says in Deuteronomy 7:11, you should keep the commandments which I command you today to do them, which means you have to do them today and not tomorrow. In the next world, you don't get a chance to do them. You do them today, and you don't receive the reward today. You're going to get paid later in heaven. So, but God is merciful, and He doesn't seek to give people a hard time. You really want to try to keep the mitzvahs? All right, I'll give you a chance. For my curly mitzvah kala, why is the sukkah called such an easy mitzvah? So because it's very cheap to do. Nowadays we buy these expensive schach and expensive sukkahs, but l'maisa you could build a sukkah for $20-$30 and do the mitzvah sukkah. You could cut your own branches, and it's not that expensive. So miyad, to fulfill it in a simple way, in a basic way. You want to do a hitter mitzvah, make it nice, call it kavod. It's very nice to do. But you could fulfill the mitzvah in a very simple way. Especially in the old days, they would just take the roof off, whatever. It's not a big deal. They had flat roofs, make it up on the roof, whatever. It's not too hard. So, what happened? Miad kol echad v'echad noitel v'hoylech v'yis sukkah b'rish gagoi. So every Gentile is going to go and make a sukkah on the roof of his house. V'kadosh Baruch Hu maktir aleim chama v'skufas tammuz kol echad v'echad mevayit v'sukkasei v'yotzei shenem and nakta. So they're going to go make a sukkah on top of their house, and God's going to make it really hot, like a heat wave from the summertime. And they're all going to leave. Each individual will leave and kick the sukkah as he leaves. It says in Psalm 2, verse 3, the nations say, "Let us cut off their cords and cast away their ropes." So why would God pierce them with this heat? God doesn't want to make it hard to do mitzvahs. He doesn't want to punish the people. And incidentally, if any Gentile would not kick the sukkah, he's not going to be in trouble. Of course, the medrash is not literal. There's deep lessons behind this. Well, the thing is, Jews also have it hard. Sometimes it's still hot even when Sukkot comes, and the Jews have to suffer with the heat. But wait a second, we have a halacha. If it's too difficult to sit in the sukkah, we're on Amud Beis now. You're potter. You don't have to sit in the sukkah. You can leave. Same thing if it's raining, you're allowed to leave. Okay, so they're potter. They're exempt. But why do they have to kick it? So go out and be sad that you can't do this mitzvah. Don't be angry and go kick it. Oh, what do I need this for? That's the mistake. The Jews make that mistake too sometimes. They go, oh, what do I need all this for? And they kick it. It's, So then God is going to sit and laugh at them. That's what it says in Psalm 2, verse 4, that the one who sits in heaven will laugh. So Rabbi Isaac says that that's the only time in history when God will ever laugh, whatever that means. So then, Rabbi Yitzchak, he goes and he brings like this that we just taught from Rabbi Yitzchak. We have that Rabbi Yossi says in the future, everyone's going to convert to Judaism. All the nations, all the Gentiles are going to convert. Okay, it's about like Hebrew game like made David live in Shleima. So wait a second. When Messiah comes, there's a brisa that says that we won't accept converts, and so too in the times of David and Solomon they did not accept converts because the Jews were so were so successful and so powerful that would think that there's ulterior motives and they're not sincere. Anyone who converts, the Rambam addresses this. Rambam says we see that there were converts in the times of David and Solomon. I mean, look at all the women that Solomon married, and even David also married converts. Sifas Torah and so forth by King David, and Solomon he married 1,000 women, from all different nations of the world. So he wouldn't marry them without converting them. So the answer the Rambam says is that when there was a Sanhedrin, the Sanhedrin is supposed to do conversions. But a conversion is kosher the way we do it today. You get any three men together and make a bezdin, make a rabbinical court, and if they know the laws of conversion and so forth, know what a mikveh is, know what a bris is, things like this, know basic things, and they accept the mitzvahs in front of them, so they're kosher converts. But the thing is, so what's going to actually happen? Elishanasu gerim grurim. So one explanation is they're going to be converts who are like dragged into conversion, whether they're dragged on their own, whether they're dragged by seeing what's going on. So mnichen tefillin v'rashein, tefillin v'rashein, tzitzis b'vigdein, mezuzah b'v'schein. So they're going to go and say they want to convert and start wearing tefillin on their head, tefillin on their arms, tzitzis on their clothes, mezuzah on their door. So they're going to see the war of Armageddon, the war of Gog and Magog, his nation. And they're going to ask Gog and Magog, what'd you come here for? Well, they're going to go, like it says in Psalm 2, against the Lord and against his Messiah. And it's asked, why do the nations gather and regimes talk in vain? So the ones who are not really sincere about their conversions, they're going to rip off their tzitzis and the tefillin and go and follow Gog and Magog and make the war against Israel. The same way. So we're going to cut off all these cords, the tzitzis and the tefillin, what do we need it for? Kadosh Baruch Hu Yosef Mesachik, and God's going to laugh at them. He's going to sit and laugh at them. It says, "He who sits in heaven will laugh." Again from Psalm 2. Again, it's all allegory. It's not literal. And so that's going to be the only day when God laughs, when they're going to go and say they want to convert, and they didn't finish the conversion in time, and people are going to be like, oh, you're really sincere, or you're just doing this because you're afraid the Messiah's here. And then when they see the war of Gog and Magog, they're going to be like, oh, we're going to go with them, and God's going to laugh at those people. But I think there will be some sincere converts, and for sure anybody who's in the process of conversion, and then Mashiach finally comes, for sure they're going to be allowed, they're going to be accepted fully as normal converts. So the Gemara asks, is that the only time when God laughs? Of course, God doesn't laugh. It's an allegory. But we'll say, V'hamer of Yehuda Amarav Shtei Mesri Shos Haviyayim. So Rav Yehuda said the name of Rav, there are 12 hours of daylight every day. So the first 3 hours of the day, the first quarter of the day, God sits and learns Torah. The second quarter of the day, God sits and judges the world. When he sees that the world is so perverted, it deserves to be destroyed, God gets up from his seat of judgment and sits in the seat of mercy and decides not to destroy the world. The third hour, he sits and feeds the whole world. from the horns of the big unicorns to the big horned animals, to the eggs of the lice, the oxen to the eggs of the lice, and the revios, Yoshev Mesachik and Leviasan. And the fourth quarter of the day, God sits and laughs, amuses himself with the Leviathan, the big sea monster. Shenema Leviasan Yitzhar Telesachik boy, because it says in the Bible, in Psalm 104, that God made the Leviathan something to play with. So we see this the same term as laughter, Lesachik. Of course, this is a very deep idea. It's not. It doesn't mean this literally. The Heilige Zayda, the Maharal of Prague, Zechusig and Leno, my holy ancestor, the Maharal and Chedusha Goddess says like this. Why is this said here? Because people think that God doesn't care about the world, that God is aloof from the world, that God has nothing to do with the world. That's the mistake people make. The fact of the matter is, no, God cares about every little thing in the world, and to the point where he even enjoys this world, kiviyachol. Not that he needs the Leviathan as something to play with as a toy, but that it's an expression of the intimacy that God has with his creatures, even to the point where he has this enjoyment, kiviyachol, so to speak, as a matter of speaking, with these animals and with us as well. So Amar of Nachman bar Yitzchak in B'Yosef Mesachik v'al B'Yosef en Mesachik Eloisa Yom Bilvad. So the answer is, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says, maybe it's the son of this Rebbe Yitzchak. He explained what his father is saying. Maybe it's a different Yitzchak, because it doesn't say Ben Rebbe Yitzchak, so it's not so clear. It says Bar Yitzchak, so maybe that stands for Ben Rebbe. It says that every day God he's laughing together with, you talk about the difference of laughing with someone and laughing at someone. So every day God laughs with us. But on that day, in the end times, when these foolish mistakes are going to be made, God forbid, then he's going to laugh at those people. Kiviyachol, of course, all of this is parable. Amalei Rav Acha lo Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak miyom shechar beis hamikdash ein tzchayk lo Kadosh Baruch Hu. There's a question on this. Does God really laugh together with his creations? Rav Acha told Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, who just said this, he said, ever since the temple was destroyed, God doesn't laugh. No one leikaschek. Wait a second, how do we know that God doesn't laugh since the temple was destroyed? It says in Isaiah 22, and the Lord, the God of hosts, called out on that day for weeping and eulogy, and for bald, ripping out his hair, so to speak. Of course, it's all. In which day is that? When the temple was destroyed. Delma hu yom v'suloi. Maybe that only means that one day when the temple was destroyed, but not afterwards. Meaning, on that day, God, in Tisha B'Av, God doesn't laugh, but the rest of the year, God laughs. Another source, Psalm 137. The Psalter says, if I forget ye, O Jerusalem, may my right hand forget how to play an instrument. May my tongue stick to the roof of my mouth if I don't remember you, that I should be able to sing. Maybe that just means that God never forgets the destruction of Jerusalem, but he still could laugh about other things and still have joy and fun in the world, even without the temple. Isaiah 42 says, verse 14, I have long kept silent, and I have been still, I have restrained myself. Meaning that God held himself back from laughing. So if God doesn't laugh, what reveals my Ovid? So there's another quarter of the day. What does God do on the last 3 hours of daylight? Since he doesn't laugh anymore. The other part of the day, God sits and teaches Torah to school children. Shenamar Zmiyaredeya v'Zmiyav and Shmuah Gmulim Echova Tikish Mishdoyim. Who should one teach knowledge? Isaiah 28:9. And to whom one does explain something you hear, it's to little babies who were just weaned from their mother's milk and removed from their bosom. Miyaredeya, who are we going to teach knowledge to? Miyav and Shmuah. Who does God say over something you hear? To little kids who were just weaned from their mother's milk. So wait a second. Who used to teach kids before the temple was destroyed? Meaning now God himself teaches the kids. Who used to teach the kids before? Maybe it's the angel Matat, who's the Sarah Panim, the interior minister in heaven, who takes care of everything that God wants to get done on earth, God's agent. Or maybe we want to say that before the temple was destroyed, God would play the Leviathan at the same time he was teaching the kids. I mean, that's what it means to play with the Leviathan, is to teach the kids. Whatever it is. These are very difficult teachings. We're not going to delve deep into all these things. So what does God do at night? Maybe it's the same schedule, 12 hours a day, and the same schedule, 12 hours in the night. It says like this: God rides on a very fast cherub and flies among 18,000 worlds, as it says. In Psalm 68, God's entourage is myriads, thousands of angels. Shinan, don't read in Shinan l'she'enan. The angels here, should read those which are not. Reading 20,000 minus 2,000, 18,000. Viboy Sema. Maybe you want to say Yosef B'Shemeshir Mipichayas, that God listens and hears the songs that the living angels, the Chayas HaKodesh, sing. As it says, in the day the Lord commands his kindness, and in the night his song is with me. It's in Psalm 42, verse 9. Rabbi Levi says, Kol Pesach Medevei Torah, Isaac Medevei Sicha, Machil Mo'yigach Le'Vesamim.
Thank you for helping him.
Levi says anyone who stops studying Torah and just talks silly words, nonsense, he gets fed burning hot coals. As it says in Job 30, verse 4, those who uproot the moist words on account of engaging in idle chatter will be fed burning hot coals. Rish Lakish said, "Kol Oisik v'Torah b'layla, Kadosh Baruch Hu moishech lo chut shel chesed bayom." Reish Lakish said anyone who studies Torah at night is endowed with a string of kindness upon a charm during the day. It says in the Psalm that by the day the Lord will command His kindness, and at night the song is with me, Matam. Why does God command His kindness? It's because at night His song is with me, the song of Torah. So in Deuteronomy 31, the Torah is called a song. Others say that what Reish Lakish is talking about here is that whoever studies Torah in this world, which is compared to the night, God will bless him with kindness in the world to come, which is compared to the day, as it says, by the day the Lord will command His kindness. As we said before.
How you feeling?
Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Rav Yehuda said the name of Shmuel. Ma'idech Siva Tasa Adam K'degei Hayam Keremes LeMoshel Boy. In Habakkuk 1:14 it says, you have made mad like the fish of the sea, like creeping things who have no one ruling them. So what does that mean? Why does Habakkuk compare people to fish in the sea? That fish, as soon as they are lifted onto the dry land, they die. They're taken out of the water. So to people, the Torah is compared to water. If they remove themselves from Torah mitzvahs, they're going to die. Even if they don't die a physical death, they die a spiritual death. If a life without Torah mitzvahs is no life. The Veracher, another explanation, what does Habakkuk say? So too, just like fish die as soon as the sun shines on them, so too people die as soon as the sun shines on them. What does that mean? Is it the sun in this world, the sun in the next world? What are we talking about? The sun in this world is like Rabbi Chanina said, Rabbi Chanina, Kol b'dei shamayim chutz mitzinim pachim. Shenam mitzinim pachim b'derech ikesh shomer nafshi yerchek mehem. Rabbi Chanina says that everything is predetermined from heaven except cold and heat. As it says in Proverbs 22, verse 5, that cold and heat are in the path of the crooked, and one who guards his soul will distance himself from them. Maybe we're going to say in the next world, like Reish Lakish said, and Gehinnom Lasad Lava Kadosh Baruch Hu Motzei Cham Nertika. Rabbi Shimon Lakish says that there's no real hell in the next world. It's just the sun is going to be taken out of its covering. God is going to take out the sun out of its covering, umakdir, and it's going to pierce through, blaze out. The wicked will be judged by it, will be hurt, will be punished by the heat of the sun, and the righteous will be healed by it. The wicked will be, we're on Dalad now, the wicked will be punished by the sun. The day is going to come burning like an oven. All the wicked people, evildoers, will be like straw. And that coming day they're going to burn up, says the Lord of hosts. If they're going to not leave over any root or branch. No root in this world, no branch in the next world. The righteous will be healed by it. It says that Malachi, all of these verses, that those who fear my name, the sun with its righteousness will have healing in its wings. Not only are the righteous going to be healed by the sun, they're going to enjoy it. They're going to go out like calves in the stall. All right, so we're already up to Dalet. So Mirz Hashem, we'll continue tomorrow. All right, so please like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for watching. And it should be a schus for the neshama of Avram ben Yosef Halevi.